of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you. Vanessa, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Sinato?
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here. We have a quorum. We will have two opportunities for public comment, one in just a few moments and then one before we adjourn. We welcome your comments. We ask that they be related to county government matters, and if you're able to maybe limit your time to about 5 minutes if you can. You're welcome to speak both times, welcome to speak one of the two times, or if you're just here to listen, that's equally fine. Oh, I skipped row officer reports and comments. I'm sorry, but none of our row officers are here this morning. Moving along to fiscal and contractual, we do have some repository properties that have been reviewed by two of our municipalities. The first 5 are all from Union Township, and they've all been approved by the Union Township supervisors. We have a note here that the Union Area School District did not respond to these documents, so they now come before us. What I'd like to do, if it's okay with Chris and Dan, I'd like to read them, enter them into the record, and if you're so willing, take one motion to approve all 5. Now, as I go through these, stop me if you have any questions, and if you want to pull one out and act on it separately, I'm certainly willing to do that. But we'll start with the first one. This is property ID number 34-286800. It's located on Pearlwood Street in Union Township. The bidder is William Simpson, and he made a bid of $599 on this particular parcel. And as I noted, the supervisors in Union have accepted it. The next parcel would be also on Pearlwood Street, ID number 34-286900. Same bidder, Mr. William Simpson, and the same amount, $599. And again, the supervisors have approved his bid. Third bid is again on Pearlwood Street, permanent ID property number 34-287000. Again, Mr. William Simpson bid $599 on this parcel. The next one, also in Union Township, is located on Wood Street, and the parcel ID number is 34-338900. William Simpson has made a bid of $599, and that's been approved by the, or accepted by the Union Township supervisors. The final one is also on Wood Street in Union, parcel ID number 34-388000. William Simpson made the bid, $599, and this has been accepted by the Union Township supervisors. Gentlemen, do either of you have any questions about these 5 bids that have been made on these parcels?
I have a question.
Certainly.
On here, where it says these are the prior owners, where it's listed?
That's correct. Under where it says property?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Those are the previous owners. Other questions, gentlemen? Would one of you care to make a motion to accept the 5 bids that have been made on these properties?
I'll make a motion to accept the 5 bids on these properties.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Chris, thank you. Further discussion, gentlemen?
Dan, just seeing it, that first resolution will be number 15.
Thank you. So we'll start with, that'll be 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19.
Correct.
Those will be the resolution numbers. Thank you, Vanessa. Appreciate your catching that. 15, 16, 17, 18, and 19. Thanks again, Vanessa.
You're welcome.
Other discussion? If not, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. I think we've talked in the past that the process that we're talking about here involves properties upon which taxes are delinquent. And these particular parcels in question have gone through both the upset sale the tax claim conducts, and then the free and clear sale that the tax claim office conducts. Then, if they're not purchased at either of those sales, they end up in the repository, which is a printed document up in the tax claim office. People can come in, look at what parcels are listed, and then they can make bids on those properties. Minimum bid being $500. When a bid is made, it is first sent to the local city, borough, or township. It then goes to the school district and then ends up here at the commissioners. If one of the three taxing bodies rejects a bid, it's then null and void. The bid process cannot go forward. You have to have all three bodies concur, or at least a majority of them have to vote yes. And that's what we've just done here this morning. Now we have two that have come in, both of which are in the city of Newcastle. This first one would be Resolution 20. Permanent ID number is 0401980. It is located at 415 Epworth Street. William Bowden made a bid of $500 on this parcel. However, the city council of the city of Newcastle rejected the bid. They noted that back taxes are still owed on the property and are still owed, I should say, and that the parcel does contain a dilapidated structure. So they have rejected the bid. And we also note here that the Newcastle Area School District did not return a response during the 60-day period in which they had to respond to this. So this first one has been rejected. I'll open it to see what you gentlemen wish to do. I could take a motion if you so desire.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
So the city of Newcastle has rejected.
They've rejected the bid.
Okay, they gave the reason for the rejection.
Yes.
My question, back up just a hair, for the prior ones, those are going to be back on the tax rolls once Mr. Simpson gets the properties.
That is my understanding, yes.
So we will collect revenue from them.
Yes.
Getting back to this. So this has been rejected by the city.
That's correct.
And through your prior explanation, as long as one entity rejects it, it can't go forward.
That's correct.
So I personally, I believe, they have solid reasons for rejecting this. I would probably go along with what they're asking.
Okay. Mr. Kennedy, any comments?
I agree.
Okay. Would one of you care to make a motion? No, we've gone back and forth on how we do this. I say that the motion should be to reject the bid. Would one of you care to make such a motion?
Well, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you both. Further discussion. And again, it's somewhat of a moot point because it's already been rejected, but our solicitor has advised us for record-keeping purposes that we still need to take this type of formal action. So if there are no other questions on proposed resolution 20, which will reject the bid, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. The next resolution, number 21, is also in the city of Newcastle. The parcel ID number is 060348800. Property location 1014 Glen Avenue. I had to look this one up. Glen Avenue is a short little street over in the 6th Ward, over on Newcastle's west side. And it's a very, very short street over there. However, the bid was $500 made by Mr. William Bowden. The city council in the city of Newcastle rejected the bid, noting there is a dilapidated structure and that back taxes are due. And they have rejected it. As noted earlier, the Newcastle School District did not respond, so it now comes before us. This is Resolution 21. Would one of you care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to reject resolution 21.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
I will second the motion.
Thank you very much. So we'll be rejecting the bid similar to that of the city of Newcastle's city council. Further discussion? If not, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. We have from the Controller's Office 3 warrant registers that have been submitted to us dated January 9, 10, and 11. This is a listing of bills that have been paid during that time frame. By the way, all these documents, we'll be giving Debbie the packet that we have, but they're also available if anybody wishes to see any of these documents we're referring to. So I'll give my colleagues some time to look over the listings, and whenever you're through, please take your time, but whenever you're ready, I could entertain a motion to accept the 3 warrant registers. Would someone care to make a motion to accept?
I make a motion we accept.
Thank you, Chris. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dan. Are there questions, gentlemen, regarding the warrant registers? Hearing none, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. The minutes of the January 9 Commissioners meeting are in our packet. Gentlemen, take whatever time you need to look them over, and whenever you're ready, I could take a motion to adopt the minutes. I do think there might be one minor adjustment. Help me with this, Vanessa. On the very second paragraph, the meeting was called to order. It says at 2 p.m. Last week it was 10 a.m., wasn't it?
It was.
Okay. So if we can, on your first page where it says 2 p.m., we'll scratch that if you don't mind, and we'll make that 10 a.m. Thanks, Vanessa.
Sure.
Again, please, gentlemen, take whatever time you need to look them over, and then I can take a motion to adopt the minutes.
Will we accept the minutes?
Mr. Sonata moves, and are you willing to second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dan, for acceptance of and approval of the minutes. Any other questions? If not, we'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We have one written communication that came in the last week that needs to be entered into the record. It is a document from Frank B. Taylor Engineering. It is regarding the Graceland Road Bridge Replacement Project in Neshannock Township. This is a township-owned bridge, and what this document indicates to us is that Taylor is informing us that the township plans to submit an application to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection to obtain a water obstruction and encroachment permit for the bridge replacement project on Graceland Road in Neshannock Township. And as we've noted, we receive these documents. We don't have any direct authority over matters such as this, but the law requires that when these types of permits are applied for, that we are officially notified as such. And I believe the Planning Commission also receives a copy of this as well. Questions on this document from either of my colleagues? May I have a motion to accept this letter?
I'll make the motion to accept this one.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Chris, thank you. If there are no other comments, we'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We move down to commissioner reports and comments, and today Commissioner Sonata gets to go first. Chris?
I think it was very busy second week here at the courthouse. We had an opportunity to visit some departments as far as the process is concerned. Meeting with all the department heads was last week. I thought it was helpful. I know Commissioner Kennedy and I, over the next month, will be visiting with many of the department heads. And from there, we actually will go visit their offices over the next few months. So I think that we're off to a good start to learn the operation and how everything works up here. And we want to make sure it runs a good way. And so far, it has been. And the people here have been very open to us as far as answering questions, which we have. And I do appreciate that from the department heads and some of the staff I've had a chance to interact with. So I think it's been very positive for the 2 weeks. As far as community is concerned, we just went through the Martin Luther King weekend. And I thought it was had an opportunity to participate in the service and the march yesterday. And I just want to give a special note out to the principal, Jay Wright at Newcastle High School. She gave a very upbeat speech yesterday at the Sankey Center, and it was nice. We had many people in the community there, and I think Newcastle schools are well represented by her. At least her comments were very positive. Comes with a wealth of knowledge and experience, and that was my first opportunity to meet her, and I was very impressed with her. So that's my experience for the past week.
Thank you. And Chris, I want to thank you especially for representing the Board of Commissioners at the 2 events that you attended over the weekend. Thank you so much for you taking the time to do that. And I'm glad you had a good second week.
Yes.
I think I should note that both my colleagues are working very hard and off to a great start. Let's see, I guess I get to go next. Just a couple things to note. Last week, last Tuesday in the afternoon, the 3 of us, along with the 3 Mercer County commissioners, met in this room as in our role as the West Central Job Partnership Governing Board. And we rotate the chairmanship of that board every 2 years. It goes from a Lawrence County commissioner to a Mercer County commissioner and back. So we just finished 2 years in which Commissioner Tim McGonigal was chairing that board. So it was our turn to elect someone to chair it. I offered to do that for 6 months. And my hope is that later this year, one of my colleagues will be willing to take over as chair of that board. And I appreciate their willingness to choose me to do that for this temporary period. And then I'm sure by mid-year, either of these gentlemen can take over from there, and either one of them will do a great job. The other thing, I had the pleasure on Sunday, Debbie, I'm not sure if you know this gentleman or not, Dave Hairhogger from down in New Beaver Borough.
No, it is, yes.
Dave celebrated his 90th birthday. They had a big party for him down at the New Beaver Borough Fire Hall. His 3 children hosted the party. And Dave's been on New Beaver Borough Council now for at least 40, maybe 45 years. And I actually started school with his youngest daughter, so we go way back. But Dave was in great spirits and looks to be the picture of health. And but you got to give the gentleman credit. He's devoted over half of his life to community service in New Beaver Borough. So I don't think I'm going to live to be 90, but boy, if I do, I want to be in the shape that Dave's in. He's in great shape. So I'm sure you've met him in your travels.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I believe that's it. So I'll turn it over to Commissioner Kennedy.
I'll agree with you guys. It has been a very interesting couple of weeks here. We are busy. Chris, thank you very much for representing us at Martin Luther King Day. I planned on going Sunday with you, but my old friends at Wilmington Township decided to call me and put me in a truck on Sunday and help them out. So I got tied up with them quite a bit on Sunday, but was glad to help. They were laughing. They said, "Hey, we got the county commissioner out here helping us." But I changed out of these clothes and put on other ones on, but that's fine. But it has been very enjoyable, and we are setting up meetings, as Chris said. I just sent an email this morning to the Lawrence County Career and Technical Center, Chris. I got a reply back, so we'll be talking about that. I told them we need to come out and see them, so I'll talk to you guys after the meeting and see if it agrees with you. And we'll go spend a couple hours out there with the kids and the administrative staff and get to know them also. Besides that, looking forward to this week. We're going to have a busy week again. A short one, but we're going to have a busy week. So thank you, too, for what you've done, both of you, to me. It's been very enjoyable. And we are showing the people at this courthouse that we are going to be a good team. I think every day we show that we're working together and doing the right things for the people that count. So thank you both.
Thanks to you, sir, very much. We'll move on with new resolutions. Unless I've lost track of my numbers.
22.
22, thank you. Mr. Acabone, our court administrator. Mike, if you'd be kind enough to come up to the microphone. Mike, we always enjoy when you stop in to see us. You've got 2 proposed resolutions. The first would, I believe, reappoint Susan Papa as the court-appointed truancy master. This would be a 1-year commitment starting January 1 and running through the end of the year. Compensation would be $85 per hour. If I understand, Mike, if you could confirm this for me. President Judge makes the appointment.
Yes.
But because a contract is involved, that's why it has to come through us. We have to approve it and then we sign the contract.
Yes.
Let me turn it over to you and you can give us some of the specifics if you'd like.
Thank you. The next 2 resolutions, one is for the truancy master and one is for the court-appointed custody master. And these are ongoing contracts, and these are renewals of this contract, similar to our juvenile contract counsel and our criminal contract counsel that I was in here for last week. But these positions help the courts out in that they resolve cases before they get to maybe the court of judge level. And they're very good at what they do. These are ongoing masters, similar to our juvenile master, but these are contracts. And so they're very helpful to the court system.
We appreciate that. As we noted Resolution 22 would reappoint Attorney Susan Papa as the truancy master. Proposed Resolution 23, as Mr. Achabone noted, would reappoint Attorney Deborah Shaw as the custody master. Both contracts are one-year contracts. Both are at $85 per hour. I'll see if Commissioner Sanada has any questions.
No.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner Kennedy?
None at this time.
Just for record-keeping purposes, how about if we do these separately? Anything else, Mike, before we vote?
No, thank you very much for considerations.
Certainly. So may I have a motion for proposed resolution 22, which would involve Attorney Papa's reappointment?
I'll make a motion to appoint resolution number 22.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Chris, I appreciate it. Any comments over and above what we've said so far? If not, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. And then proposed resolution 23 would reappoint Attorney Deborah Shaw as the custody master for a one-year contract, which we would enter into with her. May I have a motion for resolution 23?
I move motion 23.
Thanks, Chris. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dan. Any other discussion? If not, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Mike, appreciate your time.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thanks, Jeff.
Have a great day.
You're welcome.
We have a couple of budget amendments to consider. The first would be proposed resolution 24. And I looked this over. If I'm reading this correctly, it looks as though we received grant money for our 911 fund in the amount of $130,818. We are then allocating it in the following way. All of this falls under 911/public safety. $25,000 will be earmarked for the Lawrence NG 911 GIS post-migration project. $8,590 will be earmarked for the West Core ESI Net maintenance project. $63,441.29 will go towards the I-Corps Master Site Maintenance project. $13,597.50 will be earmarked for the Butler Lawrence Shared Recorder project. And finally, $20,188.75 will go towards the Lawrence ILEC Post-Mitigation Legacy project. That should add up to $130,818. This is the West Core upgrade and maintenance. Joe, do you have anything to add on this?
No, it's an increase in revenue through the grant, so we have to adjust the budget upwards, which is always a positive. And with that, they earmark their expenses for the year that grant would be used for.
Appreciate that. Now, what I can offer to both Dan and Chris, if you're comfortable voting on this today, we can do so. Are we under the gun? We're not under the gun on time, are we?
No.
If you would want to have an additional week to talk to Chad Strobel about any or all of these, I'm certainly open to that. So whatever your comfort level is, as far as we can either approve this today, if you'd like to wait a week and talk to Chad, I would certainly go along with that, but whatever your preference is.
I've worked with Chad in the past, and they're very impressed with the work being done out there, so I would have no problem with this.
Okay. You have a comfort level.
I do.
Mr. Kennedy?
Give me 1 second.
Certainly.
We're missing about 46 cents on the total.
Well,
So if you add up their total, I come to
130,817.54.
could always wait and find out what became of the 46 cents if you'd like to do that.
We don't want to hold it up. They can fix their numbers.
But again, do you need an extra week for any explanation on any of this?
I don't think, knowing Chad, talking to him the last couple of weeks out there, he's given me an idea. There's a lot of grant money comes into the 911 center, and it's got to be dispersed out to different areas. So kind of understand that. I was just doing the math to see if his math was right. I'll get that corrected, that's all.
Commissioner, if I may, you know, he came in 46 cents to the good, basically. So, you know, with that grant, and I don't know the particulars of the grant, but he doesn't have to spend necessarily. I'd be more concerned if he went 46 cents over
Okay,
what the budgeted amount was. He's actually 46 cents under.
I'm just a stickler for numbers.
That's
And I
good.
apologize for that.
Oh, no, we want that. In fact, Joe, if my colleagues concur, can you run that past Chad? And
Absolutely.
maybe find out where the missing 46
Tell him I'm watching.
Well, gentlemen, if you're so inclined, I could entertain then a motion for approval of proposed resolution 24.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Chris. Other comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. The next budget amendment, this would be resolution 25. Lawrence County belongs to two insurance programs through the State County Commissioners Association. One is known as P Corp, which is our liability insurance carrier. The other one is P Comp, which is our workers' compensation insurance carrier. Both of those groups offer safety grants to their members. And we've been participating in that for probably 5 or 6 years now, maybe longer. And we have to do a budget amendment because we did receive a $35,000 safety grant from the PCOMP group. And we are earmarking that $35,000 to the planning commission, or planning department, excuse me, for their line item of grants and programs. I believe they're going to utilize those funds for safety enhancements at Quaker Falls Park in Mahoning Township.
Correct.
Is that your understanding?
Yes, it is.
And I think one of the projects, does it involve an observation tower?
It
Or
does.
not a tower, but an observation deck?
Observation deck,
That's the one.
and it's safety enhancements around that deck.
Thanks, Joe. And thanks to Joe because you worked with Amy, I believe, in filling out the necessary forms for this. So Dan, do you have questions on this matter?
No, just thank you, Joe and Amy, for getting this done.
Thank you much. Chris?
No, I just think that safety is imperative up there. What I've read before, becoming commissioner, I know they've had some issues up there. So this grant is going to help provide more safety up there. And I actually like to get out there and check the property. I haven't had that opportunity at this point, but I'm looking forward to doing that.
It's beautiful. I wouldn't suggest going out there today, but,
Yeah.
but it is beautiful. It's a very, very nice site. Amy and her staff have done a wonderful job enhancing that site. So. Well, gentlemen, is there a motion for proposed resolution 25?
I move that we accept the resolution.
Thank you, Chris. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Dan. And once again, this is noting that we did receive $35,000 and we are earmarking it to the planning office for their enhancements at Quaker Falls Park in Mahoning Township. May I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you. We have 3 transfers that have been requested. District Judge Cartwright in Elwood City is asking for a transfer of $475 from his contingency account into that line item of travel and training expenses. This is to pay for his bonds. Any questions on the first one? Secondly, and Joe, I'll need your help here. What we're doing is we're transferring $54,510.46. That's maybe where the 46 cents ended up. This is coming from the capital projects contingency, and it's divvied up in 3 ways for an invoice for the parking lot ceiling project at the courthouse, CYS, and public safety.
Yes.
This is invoice number 1. But they didn't complete the job, did they?
No, this is just for what they have completed. They did complete the 911 center, and they had requested payment for that portion. The remainder of it will come through in the spring for when the courthouse parking lots are completed, along with CYS's parking lot.
I appreciate the clarification. What we did is we entered into a contract with these folks to seal the 3 parking lots and then line stripe.
Patch, seal, repair, patch, seal, and line
Line
stripe.
stripe. So the project is partway through. The weather in the fall was not conducive because one of the problems was, you could appreciate this, they could only do this work on the weekends when the parking lots are empty. And we had a string of rainy weekends in the fall, which just prohibited them from getting out here in time. So this is a partial. And let me see, Chris, do you have questions for Joe?
Sure. What is the name of the company, Joe?
Castle Asphalt.
Yeah, Castle Asphalt.
And so this is going to be long term. I know we were discussing a lot.
Yeah,
Parking lots done and everything.
yeah.
Is this-
What they were able to complete in the late fall was our 911 center, Department of Public Safety parking lot. The project totally included all the courthouse parking lots, CYS. Those 2 are not done yet, as well as the 911 center. So this is the portion that basically stay up to speed and catch them up with what's been completed to this date. In early spring, in the spring, the rest of the parking lots will be completed.
That will be for many years.
Yes, and I will say that they did a lot of patching here as well. So they did start this project, but they weren't comfortable with doing because of the rain, putting the sealer down and painting at that time. So they patched our parking lots, but did not yet do the rest of the job.
Sounds good.
When the weather breaks, they
Yes.
get back at it. That's great. Thank you, Chris.
Sure.
Mr. Kennedy, questions?
No questions.
Thank you very much. The third transfer is a $100,000 transfer, and this is a technical adjustment, for lack of a better term, and I'll let Joe explain it, but it's a $100,000 transfer, all falling under the jail, from their materials and supplies line item into that of maintenance and repairs. And I think you can explain why we have to do this.
Absolutely. The maintenance and repair line item falls directly under, it was just a typing error in the budget. Maintenance and repairs falls right under our materials and supplies, or vice versa. And we transcribed on the wrong line item. So basically we wanted to back the $100,000 back into the correct line item, which is maintenance and repairs. No difference in funding the budget or anything of that nature. It's just their budget remains the same. It's just moving it down one line item.
Thank you for that. Dan, do you have questions for Mr. Vanasco? Thank you. Chris, any questions?
No.
Well, gentlemen, those are the 3 transfers that have been asked for this morning. If you'd like to take them as a group of all 3, we can do so. And if you'd like to make a motion to that effect, I would certainly welcome one.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Chris, I appreciate that. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes?
motion carries.
Thank you. Couple of announcements. Our next public meeting of this Board of Commissioners will be held on Tuesday, January 23 at 10 a.m. in this room. It's open to the public. I'll note that the County Prison Board is scheduled to meet today. Normally it meets on the 3rd Wednesday. We had to move it back a day to accommodate our schedules. So we did do a legal ad noting that the prison board meets at noon. In this room, it's open to the public. The county code stipulates that the prison board consists of the 3 commissioners, the president judge, the county controller, the district attorney, and the sheriff. Today's meeting is primarily, or maybe solely, to elect a new chair. Former Commissioner Spielvogel had been the chair of the prison board, and of course, her term expired at the end of 2023. So the board has to convene and elect a new chair. So that's what will be taking place at 12 noon today. Again, it's open to the public. And speaking of the public, let me see if there are public comments. Debbie, anything? And I'll have my packet for you. Mr. and Mrs. Burchett, any questions or comments? Thank you. Closing comments from my fellow commissioners. Mr. Kennedy.
Not at this time.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Sanada.
Not at this time as well.
Thank you both. Vanessa or Joe, anything maybe I've overlooked or forgotten? All right, well, thank you all. We appreciate you coming out on kind of a cold winter day. And wish you all safe travels as you go back to home or work. May I have an adjournment motion?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second.
Thank you both. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. The motion carries. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.